I'm Patrick Bailey with whiteboardcoder.com. Today is January 21st, 2017, and in this video I'm going to be going over how to install Etsy Morgue on an Ubuntu 16.04 server. Okay, so first off, what is Etsy Morgue? It's actually called Morgue. It's a tool that's been open sourced, and it was written by some programmers over at Etsy, some developers. So first of all, it can be gotten here. Here's the URL for it. You go to github.com etsy/morgue. And there's where you can download, and it's all open source. If you want a better description of it in their own words, you can scroll down here and they do describe what it is. But I also found this video, and I'll put a link to both of these in the show notes, so you could watch this video, which is pretty interesting. And it's done by the developers who did write it. And let's see, what's her name? I can't remember her name right now. But anyway. Basically, the idea is if you're doing a lot of development, you want to do on occasion post-mortems. And a post-mortem, if you're unfamiliar with that terminology, is if you have some serious incident. Well, it could be different levels. There's some kind of failure, and you want to have a meeting to discuss why it failed. And done correctly, the idea is it's a blameless kind of meeting. You come together, you figure out, hey, why did this thing go wrong? Why did the server go down? And why did we not detect it? Or things like that. And then you figure out how to fix it and resolve it. And if you're doing a good postmortem, you're documenting the whole thing. And if you're doing things better, maybe you're taking some metrics, like when did this incident occur? When did we fix it? And when did we find out about it? So you might get some cool metrics over time, like how long is your reaction time to something being down, to noticing it, and to fixing it. So you can do some interesting metrics like that if you're doing proper postmortems. Now, most of us end up we'll make some documents, we may put them on a wiki, but then their point was they were doing the same thing like that. They were putting it all on a wiki, and they weren't tracking it very well, and the statistics weren't there, and they weren't doing as many postmortems as they think they should have been doing, I think. And it was just kind of a difficult process to search through. And to be honest, most of the postmortems I've been a part of, you'll write everything up, do a good postmortem, fix the stuff. And even if you do a good write-up, you just kind of throw it on the wiki and never look back at it again. But in my point of view, it'd be nice to take a few key metrics so that you could look at them again, or which I don't think Morgue does quite yet. It takes track of those metrics. It does track the metrics, but I don't know if it has a nice graph or anything yet to it. But I think there's a possibility of that in the future because they do track it. But the idea is they put together a tool to write postmortems and to search through postmortems. So they put this whole tool together, and they do a lot of descriptions in here. So rather than do a wiki, you have an entire tool. And it's written in PHP, and it uses MySQL on the back end for a database server. And so it's an interesting idea. I think it's good. They're still hopefully develop it more over time, but I personally I've just barely installed it and touched it. And so I haven't used it extensively. I can't speak to it, but I do like the idea of keeping better statistics and having a better tool for postmortems company-wide. And with that, let me get started installing it. And just to be clear, this installation is kind of be a barely done installation. There's some extra features they have, like hooking it into Jira, hooking it into Google, which I am not going to do. I'm going to kind of point you where you could go, probably figure those out. But here I'm just getting it working on an Ubuntu 16.04 and just run it and do very few simple things. So with that, let's get started. Okay, before I start installing things, I just want to go over the requirements that they list on their own GitHub README page. If you scroll down here a bit, they have the requirements. They want PHP 5.3 or higher, MySQL 5.5 or higher, PHP MySQL driver, Apache, and mod rewrite. Now I'm going to be installing on Ubuntu 16.04, and in Ubuntu 16.04, PHP 5.3 is kind of hard to easily get a hold of. It's not in the default repository. 7 is, which is a higher version, so I'm going to be going with 7, which I got working before, and there was no issue with that I noticed. So we're going to go ahead and start there. Before I start though, I did do a write-up, which should be very similar to this video, but it's probably easier to ingest a video. If you go over here to whiteboardcoder.com, there is an Etsy, well, here's the address, but you can probably go there and search for it. or by date. I did a thing on install Etsy Morgue on Ubuntu 16.04. Only reason I bring that up is because as we do all these commands, it may be difficult to remember them correctly, and you could just go over here and do a little copy and paste and make your life a little easier. But anyway, let's get started. So here I am on the machine, and so I'll do a sudo apt-get update. And by the way, this is just a generic Ubuntu 16.04. Nothing much has been set up on it, just some SSH keys and things like that. It's pretty bare bones. Okay, so let's get going on this. So let me see, LSB, just want to prove what I have. So I have Ubuntu 16.04. So now let's do sudo apt-get install. We'll do a -y to say yes to everything. Apache 2, Apache 2-bin, and lib apache 2-mod, fast CGI, and lib apache 2-mod PHP. Let's get those installed. Okay, and then we do sudo apt-get install -y PHP 7.0 mysql and PHP 7.0-imap and PHP 7.0-gd and unzip. So run that. 7.01, sorry. Sudo apt-get install -yes PHP 7.0-mysql -imap and PHP 7.0-gd and unzip. Let's see, there we go. Okay, so now we need to run this sudo php nmod imap. Run that guy, and then sudo service apache 2 restart. Okay, so at this point we should have it running here. So now I can go here and go to 192. It's running locally on my server on 55. So there I go. I got Apache running. We've gotten that far. Now I need to edit a file here. So I need to do sudo vi etc apache 2 conf -available php 7 fpm.conf. So there's that file. We'll open this up. It's a new file. And I'm going to cut and paste to make sure I don't mess this up. But there it is. That's the information you want to paste in here. And like I said before, you can go to my website and probably copy and paste out of there just fine. Now let me show you this, that this is on the same line number 5 here. Okay, so save that. And next step. Now I need to enable some modules. So sudo a2 nmod action fast CGI alias. Now what I do. I think it's already enabled. Okay. A2 nconf php 7-fpm and sudo a2 nmod nmod rewrite. Okay, and then let's restart Apache. failed. I exit with an error code. Maybe try that again. I think that's the same. Oh, actions. There's right. It used to be an S. CD. So let me run that again. Sudo a2nmod actions fast CGI alias. There we go. Now let me restart it. And there. Good. We're good to go. In theory. But now we want to, well, we can confirm that the Apache is running. And it is. But we want to look at make sure the PHP is running. And a good way to do that is to make a PHP info file. So I'm going to do sudo var www HTML. And this is the base of our HTML out of the box. And I'll edit this file, phpinfo.php. Nothing is in it right now, but what you'll do is you'll do PHP and PHP info. And let's see, that's all there is to it. So save that. And I don't know if I need to, but I'll change the owner of it to www data. It's just a right thing to do. And so this will change the owner and group of everything in var www HTML. We'll run that. And then I should be able to go here and do php info.php. There we go. I got my PHP info page, and I'll do a quick search on mod rewrite. Oh, there we go. And we can see that the loaded modules are loaded and mod rewrite is loaded. So that part of it should be good. There's other information here you might be concerned with, but that's the main thing I'm concerned with now. Next thing is you want to remove this file, because that's a bad file to keep around in your system. If people want to poke around, they could go there and get all kinds of information on your system if it was a live system. Mine's just internal, so I don't need to remove it, but it's a good habit to. So I'm going to remove it. There we go. Okay. Next, I'm going to do MySQL installation. Okay, now to install MySQL. In this case, I think it installs 5.7. So I'll do sudo apt-get install MySQL server. And I also like to install MySQL client while I'm at it, just in case I need to use it. So let that go. And we need a root password. So for me, it's just for test. I actually use my password. Not a live system. I'm going to delete it soon anyway. But this is the root password to get into MySQL as the admin root user to MySQL. Remember what password you used. I'm not the biggest fan of MySQL these days, but that's what they're using for this tool. I'd much prefer Postgres. Okay. Now the next thing you do is run MySQL secure installation. There's some reasons for that. Basically, the default installation is not a secure one, even though, yeah, my password, I use my password, but get into good practice. Okay, enter the password. So I enter the password I entered in for MySQL before, and it says, okay, for this one, I'm going to say no. But the rest, I'm going to use the password for yes. I don't want to do that. Sorry, it's the wrong thing. It's not going to get out here. Let me try that over again. So the root password, would you like to validate password plugin? No. Not now. Do I want to change the password? Sorry. No. Now here's where I want to remove anonymous users. I want them gone. Disallow root login remotely. Yes. Remove test database. Yes. Reload privileges. Yes. Okay, now we should be more secure. Although, and truthfully, you'd probably want to do have a better password than I do for the root user. But anyway. Okay, so now let's log in. MySQL. So do MySQL-user root-p. So that'll log us in. Enter your password. So now I'm in the MySQL. But now I need to run a script that they show. I believe they show this. Let me see. Yeah, if you go through their notes, here's the base database they want you to create. And so I'm just going to be repeating that. So you can come here and copy it. The only thing I did is I changed the Morgue password. So I'm just going to kind of cut and paste this whole thing, and you can see what I did. So create database for the called Morgue, create the user Morgue at the local host, give them all access privileges, and give them the password, my Morgue password. Of course, another password, you probably want to be a different password than that. And then we'll exit. Okay, so now we're out of there. And the next thing we want to do is we want to update the database with some there's some more databases. Sorry. But before I do that, let me do MySQL -- version. There we go, 517. Now we want to clone the repo. And so I'll go here to the repository and clone or download. We'll just grab that, copy, and do git clone paste. So I'm going to pull down the whole repo for Morgue. And in the repo for Morgue, there actually are some schemas we need to install in the database and make the database. So we can do that pretty easily. We can do MySQL -p-u, and we'll use the user Morgue -host localhost, and then we will feed into Morgue. We'll go down into the repository. There's the schemas, and we'll first do post-mortem SQL. So run that guy. Oh, I just did my password, didn't I? Did the wrong password. -p-u Morgue -host localhost, and Morgue, we put in Morgue schemas post-mortem. I need to use the password for the Morgue user, my Morgue password, and I typed it in wrong, didn't I? Okay, let me try that again. Oh, it helped type localhost correctly. My Morgue password. There we go. So that should have that database entered in. Now I'm going to do a little cut and paste rather than type all this stuff in. I'm going to do the same thing. There's several other schemas they want loaded. So there's the post-mortem. There is images. I did the password wrong again. There's the images one. There's a Jira one, so I'm not going to get Jira set up at all in this video. I did it wrong. And links, table. And IRC. And I'm not going to be doing IRC in this one either. Apparently Etsy uses a lot of IRC. I'm more of a Slack guy these days. Okay, so now now that we've got that done, next we're going to go copy Morgue over and see if we can run it. Okay, so I've downloaded Morgue from the Git repo. Now I want to copy it over to where I can run it in my Apache folder, var www. So I'll do a sudo copy -r Morgue var, and I'll copy it to var www. There we go. And then I'll change the owner of everything to www data var www. Right? Well, do Morgue. There we go. Now let's go in there and see what we can see. So there's all the files. So I need to... Okay, there's a few things I need to run according to them. And I'm not a PHP guy, so I'm kind of just running it and making sure it works. Apparently there's a composer tool I need to get that they utilize as kind of something that helps them build out their site. I'm not a PHP guy, so forgive me for that. So I'm going to copy and paste this command that I have here that should pull down Composer. So here I am running PHP and I'm copying it down the installer, and there we go. And then I am going to, there we go, run this guy. Another command where I am getting the key and I'm verifying the installer. And then now that I've got Composer in there, I am actually going to run this command that's going to run the Composer and build stuff out I need, I guess. I'm not familiar enough with Composer to know. Okay, so it looks like we're good. So now we need to run a few more things. We're not done with the setup yet. We run this command, and then now Composer should be good to run. And so now to run it, I guess we run this command. PHP composer.far phar update. And you're not supposed to run it as root, but I am right now, and if that's what I'm doing. I'm just trying to get more up and running and proved out. Okay, so there we go. So now I'm going to go and edit. We want to make this available for Apache because it's not even a site yet, really. So I'll go to Apache 2, sites enabled, and I'll edit the default in this case. I'm going to be kind of lazy and just tweak the default. And for me, I'm just going to delete the whole thing, and I got some stuff I can copy and paste in here. And so here, well, doesn't really matter if I'm running it locally, but here you put your host name, of course. But here I'm saying where the document root is. It's Morgue HT docs, and there's the directory, override all. There you go. Nothing too special. Save that, and then I need to restart it. Apache. And so now this tool should be at my root. So now if I go to, in my case, it's at this address, 55, and open it, I should have Morgue. Oh wait, no, this happened last time. Something went wrong. And this it has to do with the configuration file. So let me go back and edit that. So we can do sudo vi, and here there's a config folder. Oh, I gotta copy it. The problem is I don't have a config file. So I have to copy the example config over to config, and they were using development, so I'm just copying what they did. So now I have this, I'm copying an example of development, and it's still not going to work because of the fact that I changed a password. So let me go in there and open it. So edit config development.json. And this has a lot of generic stuff in here, but one thing we have is our database connection, localhost and username, but my password, I changed it to my morgue password. So I'll save that. And do I need to restart Apache or will it work? Okay, perfect. So now I am loaded. So I kind of have Morgue's running. It's not doing anything fancy yet, but it is running. So I'm going to do a few things really quickly here that did the other day, just to kind of kick the tires and see what I can do with it. Okay, just fiddling with it a little bit. I'll come up here and create a post-mortem. So I'll come in here, I'll give it a title. I don't know, voice servers went down. And then you give it a start time, and the intention here is you're going to give it the time things actually went bad. So let's just say it went down at 2015, and that's the time it actually went down. And then end time is the time you actually fixed it. So it was down at 2:15 p.m. We got it up at 3:13 p.m. So there's the actual, it was dead at this time, it ended this time. And then you can do a detect. When did we detect it? And so you put in there, I don't know, put 20 in here. And then there's a status time, which I got a little confused on. But it's something that Etsy used. They used to call it Etsy status time. And it's optional, but I think their intention here is you could add a time that that there was a planned downtime, so that you could say there was a planned downtime for this system to go down at X time, and that could be important to your postmortem. In most cases, probably not. Also here, you come down here, you could change your time zone. So I'll change it to, let's see, where's Denver? Denver, there we go. I'll change it to Denver. And then they got the severity. Now here you can hover over here and they will explain the severities, which is in a file, so you can actually change it to what you want. Here they've got 5 levels and they explain what their 5 levels mean, which might be good for most of us. But if it's not, you can go tweak it. But we'll do this, click that and click create, and now I've made an incident. And let's see what we can do. I fiddled with it a little bit to see what I could do last time. I can come in here and click here to make changes. So I can come in here and change it from a 1 to a 2 if I wanted to. Put a contact person in here. And now I can start editing the page. And here I can do markdown. So I can do, let me see if I remember my markdown. Went down. Do tables. So this would be very similar to GitHub Markdown. Well, Markdown's Markdown, right? Kind of. Everyone's got their little flavors that might be a little different, right? So that should be table. Should be able to highlight text. We'll do 1, 2, 3, data here. I'm not going to go into a lesson here on Markdown, but the only bad thing I don't have here is I can't. It'd be nice if I could toggle and hit a button here so I can go back and forth and see what it looks like before I save my changes, but not there. Why we were surprised. Okay, well, sorry. Let me back up. Beyond the Markdown, what happened? You write you do the postmortem thing. Here's what happened. Why were we surprised? Because of X. You can add images in here. So if I went to, let me see, go to this page and find the URL for this image, I can come here and put in the URL and it should pick it up. But it should, in this case, it's referring to the URL. It's not pulling it down. So that might not be a good option in the long run. IRC channel, I'm not fiddling with this. I have no plan to, but they use IRC a lot. And apparently you can somehow go in here and connect to your IRC channel and pull in data from that relevant time, which is a nice thing to do. I just have no need to do it myself right now. Remediation, I'm not going to fiddle with this one either, but apparently you can connect it into Jira, you can get that set up, and somehow pull down or talk back and forth. But I'm not doing that today. Forums, not so sure on that. Tags, we can add tags based on what this was for searching later. So, put a tag of voice. That's just for helping out in search. You also have a history of the post-mortem. Now, this is something that got me a little hung up, is you can drag images in here, but it's not quite set up right correctly yet. So I can actually go into, let me pull up some images. So here I got some images, or even files. And so I can drag them over here, and I can just drop them anywhere on the page. And you'll see them there. But you also notice there's a checkbox and an X here, and I can't do anything with them. Reason being, looks like out of the box, they do not supply, the morgue won't download itself those files anywhere. What they intend you to do is they intend you to set up something, what do they want you to do? They want you to set up, they want you to connect it to something else, where something else is actually going to store the images or files. So you'll put the images here, and they'll be pushed to another service that will have them, and then in here they'll just have links. And so, but that would be a server you control, so once you put those files there, they, in theory, you own them and they wouldn't go away. But anyway, so now if I save this, these images won't be saved because I don't have that service set up yet. So hit save, and you'll see them there, but they're not really there. So if I go here to, well, if I click here just in the front, I'll see all my post-mortems, I'm guessing listed by date or time, I'm not sure. But now I can go back in here and open it up, and there's all my data. I can see that it did do the markdown correctly. I can see it is referring to this link correctly and pulling that image down. But I can come down here, and the stuff that the images that I loaded in there, or even files, aren't going to show up because I didn't make a file server, basically. Let's see what else. So that's kind of as far as I'm going to go with this, but I'll give you some hints and clues on where some other things are. So now if I go into the config file again, here's where a lot of your configurations are set up that I have not set up correctly yet. Well, first thing, those tooltips for the severity are right here. You can edit them and change them to what you want if that's not adequate for you. And there's a lot of different features in here where it can hook into the calendars and uploads. Let's see. So there's a calendar, and there's the Jira information. So you're probably going to want to hook it into your Jira and figure that out. However those proxies are going, I'm not going to bother with that. But if you're not going to use Jira, you could probably disable it and remove it. Oh, here it is, the upload. So the upload, you need to go set up your driver. So they're talking about using a WebDAV, which I haven't set up. But this would probably be very important to me. I need to set up something so that I can save my files. That would be very important for me for a system like that. So it's important to know, here's where you can edit that. Another important thing to know is how these guys set up their GitHub page. So if you actually come in here, and there's more than just this first README page, which has a lot of information, but it doesn't really go over how the customization works. What you want to do is you can come in here, go into master, go into features, click on features, and this lists a lot of those extra features, like the upload. And if you go into the upload section here, they actually put a README here. That probably gives you some more hints and clues on how to set up the README if you want to go set up your own server or configurations. So most of these extra features here in the features page actually have their own individual README pages. So you can go to calendar, and it tells you how to probably give you some stuff on how to set this up, because it can talk to your Google Calendar and do some stuff. As an example, if I go back into anniversary, I got nothing because I don't have that set up right. I go to calendar, I'm not hooked into Amazon. Also, I'm not sure, but it looks like it uses, I said Amazon, Google. And also, I'm not sure, but it looks like it uses a Google account. So right now, the way I have this set up, it looks like anyone can just go here and edit the page, which might be fine for your team. But it looks like you can probably use Google accounts to log in, and that way you can track who said what. Haven't set that up. I'm not going to today. I just want to do a quick video and put it out there for anyone who may have to start installing Morgue and don't have a clue. So this will at least get you started, get you going, and then from here you still do a lot more to get it set up the way you want. But now I can go here, and I've got my post-mortems. I can even do searches, and I got no search for voice. Really? Oh. I searched for voice with a capital. Okay. That's a little lame, but it is what it is. So if you need a specialized tool to keep track of your postmortems, this might be something worthwhile looking into. And at least you could go through this tutorial, put it in there, get it up and running relatively easy without all the extra features, and fiddle with it and see if you even like it. So, okay. Well, that's going to be it. That's going to be it for this video. I've covered how to install Morgue and get it basically running, so enjoy. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked the video. If you did, please give it a like. To subscribe, just click the subscribe button. Also, you can follow me on Twitter under the handle @whiteboardcoder.com. View any code I may have thrown up as a gist at GitHub under the username PatmanDenver, or check out my blog site at whiteboardcoder.com.